Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Flora from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is a Twin Flame energy update. And so there was definitely a shift. Many of us are kind of feeling it. We did have Jupiter enter into Taurus, and so I woke up with this collective anxiety this morning, like this over anxious, this nervousness, kind of tension in the energy. And we do have Jupiter's forming a T-square with Mars and Pluto, and so that's likely what we're feeling with this overstimulation, with these activations taking place. It feels very overstimulated in the energy, and I do feel there is like a lot of collective fear. I did have that confirmed through another divine feminine as well this morning, and so we both kind of woke up in this very perpetuating collective energy. It just felt really off, and so we got to keep moving through these energies to get to the other side to create stability. And so there's a lot of linkage is what I feel is happening when it comes to this twin flame journey. And I do feel there's like this energy of a solution around the corner, but we got to work through these fear-based energies, especially surrounding commitments and money is what I feel some of the fear is surrounding. And so there's a lot of justice energy playing out. They keep showing me like the scales, the cosmic laws and the principles of balance. And so it is definitely quality over quantity, was a big message. And so with this new moon in Taurus coming in, we've got this powerful Taurus stellium going on. And so I'll probably go a little bit deeper into the new moon energy tomorrow or before the weekend. But it's this practical energy coming forward, right? Taurus is about grounded stability, practicality, common sense. And so we've kind of got to release all of these short-term connections that really have not held a lot of long-term value in our lives when it comes to our authentic expression. And so I do feel we got to release this drive to let the ego kind of run the show. So I do feel the feminine's really made an impression on the divine masculine at this point in time. And the feminine is the one that kind of shines the light on the misuse of their energy and all of these very shallow, trivial pursuits that the masculine kind of entangles himself in during the running stage. And so I do feel there's a lot being linked, right? And so this superficiality, I feel, is collapsing. I do feel this collapse energy, this tower energy coming. And eventually, I do feel these masculines are going to be forced to move on from these very distorted relationship cycles. A lot of these masculines have a gift for communicating and stimulating these new foundations, but they have not gone into the depths of learning this lesson full circle is kind of what I feel. And so we are at a time where we can spiritually mature with the Taurus energy, but we need to recognize what's no longer working and embrace the change. And because Taurus can be a very fixed energy, it doesn't really like to change, right? It likes its creature comforts too, and it can be a little bit materialistic at times. And so a lot of the feminines go through the fall at the beginning, and we kind of have to lose our reputation. We go through humiliation. We lose, our business if we've had a business, a successful business. We lose, basically our reputation, and we usually have a huge financial downfall where we have to kind of zero out the karma and lose it all and rebuild from that 0 point. And so I do feel that's the fear creeping in with the masculine having to rebuild from that 0 point is what it feels like. And so the feminine's gone through this stage of isolation for many years on the journey. And this is how we do tap into our creative genius, our spiritual genius. And so this eventual continual process for the feminine will lead to recognition and support of the counterpart, I do feel. And I just feel like the masculine's in a state of alienation, or he's been very withdrawn from a lot of people, very isolated and going within type energy. The hermit, I was shown the hermit. And so we also have to learn how to readapt to people again after we go through this transformation. We usually go through a period of alienation and isolation while we're in the dark night of the soul, and we're understanding all of these past wounds and these past timelines and the karma that we came here to clear when it comes to our family lineage and these ancestral patterns that are no longer working. And so it is in solitude and alienation, though, that we also find our determination to regain a level of self-sufficiency, because we are here to be interdependent. And so we also have to release the egoism as well. And we have to understand our core wounds, right? A lot of the divine feminines can be very overbearing when we don't stand in our worth and our value. We can overgive. And so we have to go through this period of isolation to understand trauma bonds, how the trauma bonds work, and the triggers and the red flags. And we also go through spiritual tests and have walk-ins come into the journey in order for the feminine to learn lessons about boundaries and what is right for her, because the soul intricately knows what is best for us. And so if something is making you feel off or anxious, that's a clear indication, like, hey, red flag, something is off here. So I do feel there's like red flags going off like crazy in these karmic contracts, because we kind of got to reverse the scales, right? We have to reverse and balance the scales. And so I do feel there's a lot of combative energy. There's a lot of people projecting and offending a lot of people. So do try to stay out of any conflictual conversations. Try to stay out of any gossip and drama. But I feel the masculine has slowly eliminated all of this support, and he is feeling completely all alone. And this is due to his drive to try and control the entire situation, to try and gain control over the feminine through the ghosting and the non-communication and all of those expressions that he chose to play into. And another message that came through is a big part of this journey is we have to expedite the journey. And so the feminine is also a big part of this expediting of the union. Is we have to get our story out. We have to tell our story of the awakening journey, and how we overcame the mask and the superficial personality that we also had to shed and transform as part of this spiritual purification journey. And the feminine is also here to express her true feelings, knowing that she is secure and protected as she gets her story out of her personal transformation. The feminines really do have this gift to step into a leadership role, and we are divinely protected as we go through this process and share our story. And I do feel the feminine has really highlighted to the masculine his negative behaviors and the price that he's really paid for what it is he chose to gain over love. And so there is this very stressful, alerting energy collectively, I feel. Anxiety, fear of losing all of the stuff that he's gained materially. And that is kind of where his reality is at, I feel. And this silence, this deafening silence, is creating more fear as all of these secrets are kind of being unraveled and uncovered in the energy. And I do feel another thing that is triggering the fear is the feminine is attracting a lot of attention right now. She's really being noticed, and the masculine is noticing that the feminine is attracting attention and being noticed. And so the feminine's got all of these innovative ideas. And I do feel this is really pushing the feminine towards some new business ventures, maybe some new unusual collaborations. And I do feel this is guaranteeing the feminine success. And so this is triggering fear, anger, jealousy, possessive issues in the masculine. And I do feel he's in this energy of like Five of Pentacles, feeling very self-defeated at this time because of all of the karmic effects that are kind of expanding in the masculine's world right now. And this is provoking a lot of disruptions, I feel, a lot of towers, in order for the masculine to understand the whys of the journey. And so the twins, I do feel the closer we get to union energies, we do have to deal with a lot of outsider karmic distractions as tests, as part of this level up. And I do feel the feminine really has honored this twin flame journey, this commitment. I do feel there is a new commitment, a new offer coming in order to secure these foundations after the masculine kind of regains his footing, is what it feels like. He's preparing to honestly come in with some communication, because he didn't really live by his word, and the feminine's kept her promise and lived by her word. And so the masculine's kind of been in this state of like this unconscious wanderer, and just kind of wandering through a lot of this process as the feminine's gone through this profound transformation. And I do feel now this is leading to this external yearning for the feminine. And so a lot of this release has been happening unconsciously. And I feel this new Jupiter energy is creating the energy for the masculine to find his courage to reject the karmic cycles that he's been entangled in. And so the masculine is in a really difficult position right now, because he's really not completely known himself or recognized himself until now. And I don't feel this has been predicted for him, you know. And so I do feel we can't just keep wandering throughout our life from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship, just seeking that stimulation, because that's really not an ethic way of living our life by any higher standards. And so I do feel the masculine is very curious about the feminine. I do feel a lot of third eye visual memories have been recollected from past lives. And now the masculine is being asked to verbally recount these memories like the feminine has on her awakening journey. And so we're in this gate of like collective historical cosmic memories right now in the collective consciousness. And a lot of us have these newfound Aquarian philosophies that we're here to bring forward for these new earth solutions. And so I do feel the masculine has been called to action, to journey towards the feminine and creating this new formation of this new foundation with these new ideals and these new family traditions and beliefs. And so there's a lot going on, I feel, in the mind space for the masculines, as he's going into the depth of all of his past life human experiences and understanding the language of the universe and how to bring that into our creative physical expression verbally. And this is a very complicated process to complete and go through. It is very hard to put all of these influential energies into words, because it's combined with our feelings as well and all of our experiences at the same time, while we're exploring the depths of these energies at the same time. And so a lot of recollection. And I do feel we are here to teach about these recollections. We are here to teach about life and a better way of living. And a lot of the twins have their own unique life lessons that they come from within their own family lineage and their own interpretation of their life lessons and their own emotional overtones and undertones based on the family background and religious background and family beliefs that they were raised in. And so the twins have this colorful story to tell. We all have a very colorful thread, puzzle piece to put together, to share when it comes to this expanding journey for humanity's progression. And so I do feel there's a lot of searching right now when it comes to overcoming these limitations. And in order to overcome limitations, we also have to accept that the limitation is there in order to transcend the limitation. And so we're kind of like in the space between, is what it feels like, where there is a lot of cellular DNA mutation kind of taking place as all of these new light codes are kind of saturating the collective. And then we have to do this release of the lower energies when it comes to these limitations, and then take action. And so acceptance is always key. And we do spiral many times over in these states to maintain harmony long term. And so I do feel there's going to be a lot of confrontations, a lot of external confrontations coming up here. And when we're in that very diversified energy, that's where we find our drive to go into the restlessness, the anxiety, the agitation, and then to find our energy to confront this, to make a very decisive judgment call. So I do feel an understanding of the limitations is also part of the acceptance, right? Where we've been restrained. Maybe the masculine's coming to this newfound awareness of where he's been taken advantage of. Maybe something like that is arising. And I do feel he's well aware of these karmic habitual limitations that he's maintained when it comes to the status quo. And I don't feel any of that is going to exist anymore in these new cycles. And so in order to get unstuck, we do have to get stuck too. And so a lot of these masculines played into self-interest. They didn't care who they hurt. They figured they could handle any restrictions, limitations, as long as they cared about their own personal self-interest and self-security. And so I do feel this ego gratifying self-interest, the ignorance when it comes to these divine connection is creating a lot of sufferance right now in the energies, because he's ignored this enlightenment process, and now he's kind of got to pay the karmic price, is what it looks like. And so this is also the gateway of leadership. So I do feel the masculines have been in a perpetual state of depression as they release their former self. And we do go through a state of withdrawal before we go through the states of transcendence. And I do feel we have to go through a complete destruction of the old cycle, of the old foundations and the old limitations, in order to fully create a new foundation. But we can't do that without fully understanding our behavioral patterns and the limitations we also bring into relationships, because the divine feminine isn't perfect either. Nobody's perfect. Actually, that's what my cousin Dean kept asking me the other day. Are you perfect? I'm like, no, Dino, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And so there's still issues that arise. It's about how we handle the relationship limitations. And so this really is a lifelong process of understanding, of taking correct actions and enhancing our leadership potential every step of the way, because we're always learning and growing. And so there's this deep desire for expansion, I feel, to break free from this perpetual depressive state. And the masculines, rigid, dogmatic principles, I feel, and this uncompromising severity of his coldness towards the feminine is really breaking down. It's really led him to this chronic state of depression. And so there's a lot of what I also feel fluctuations in the initiation process. So you might be way up here and somebody might be way down here. And so there's a lot of spiraling when it comes to this fluctuating initiation process right now as well. And we kind of need this rise and fall energy to create this pressure in order to tap into the pure energy of God source, so we can go through this mutative process, this transformation process. And so the restraints are fueling the root center, which triggers a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of frustration. And that enables the pressure, right, to build, to untap the possibilities of that release. And this is how we go through this Kundalini creative mutative process. And we got to pulse at the base of the spine and allow that mutation to be released in order to reach our highest potential. And so there's a lot of pressure at the root center when it's stemming around fear and this restlessness when it comes to moving ahead and facing all of these roadblocks, no matter how impatient we are too. We kind of got to go through this very unpredictable mutative process. And I'll never forget the unpredictability of what I went through, the confusion. It was very traumatizing. And so we are here to come into the collective to affect this real positive change. And so there's a lot going on inside of the masculine right now because of the world around him. And the energies are asking him to bring order to all of this chaos right now with the Taurus energy. And so he kind of feels like he can't really move forward right now because of all of these influences. And the law of friction now is creating this passive aggressive energy as he goes through this transference, right, of soul contracts, and steps into his true natural expression of what a true leader is. And so I do feel a lot of unexpected manifestations are going to be playing out over the next little while. And I do feel with the sun in Taurus, the feminine is being asked to no longer hold back your light. No longer hold back your light, divine feminine. It's time to be that influence in every life that you connect with, because you are harnessing your natural expression for leadership right now too. And as you no longer hold back your light, the masculine is absorbing the light into the darkness, and this will promise the manifestation of these unions. And so the masculine's got to face his entitled arrogance at this point in time. I feel this unreasoned arrogance is creating a lot of nervous jumps. A lot of the masculines jumped the gun and misfired and jumped right into that karmic cycle without any contemplation of the dedication to this higher union. And so, he really wasn't very selective. He went for quantity over quality. And so, and he's run away so far from the true quality of the journey. And so with this new moon, what is the masculine's intention is kind of what I'm thinking, wondering what is the masculine's intention? Is he even asking himself, what does it take to be a successful leader at this point in time? Because I do feel the feminine's coming into a lot of public acknowledgement and recognition for her nurturing positive influence within the Twin Flame Collective and the spiritual community, locally and globally. And so I do feel as the feminine steps into her power, this is leading the masculine towards some type of humiliation. And that's what he ran away from in the first place. And he can't keep running from that. And so we're at the gateway of taking the lead or not. But we do have to come from a place of humbleness and not self-righteousness. And so is the masculine going to be able to take the lead and cross the gateway of the alpha? And so all of these external influences are shifting his attitude and his moods right now. And I do feel this fear is going to create a self-fulfilling prophecy of a negative manifestation in order to force the masculine to lead himself out of this very treacherous contract that is closing out. And so the masculine in the past, his actions definitely did not match his words. And so therefore, I feel there's a fear of not being able to have success with the feminine if he were to return. So there's a lot of messages that have been coming through. And I do feel like we're in like this cosmic, what I want to call it is like a cosmic cauldron of energies kind of brewing. And with all of this Taurus energy, it is about our values. What are your true values? I think that's a big thing we need to ask ourselves, because the spiritual community is not hierarchical at all. We are all of equal value, and we all have the ability to step into our alpha and omega energy for the betterment of humanity. And so we are here to be these influential, positive leaders, collective leadership. And I do feel we're here to provide the new vision for this new earth direction. We're here to show others how to achieve this state of alignment and unity. We're not here to do it for them, but we are here to be those guides. And how this manifests for everybody will be how they tap into their own potential. But I do feel many of the twins are moving into a position of collective power, collective leadership, and we are here for cooperative efforts with the people. It is about unity. And so when we use our energy and we use our money for the betterment, for the leadership of the betterment, then we will be backed by the energy of the universe. And so, but we also have to come from a place of action and our words do have to match our actions. I've got major tingles all over my crown right now. So we can't just come forward and have an empty voice. We have to transfer our visions by speaking them into the new. And so we're going through a lot of spiritual tests right now when it comes to these patterns, and you might have to carry out another cycle of a pattern to completely close out a cycle right now in order to really understand the values you are here to maintain and guard as part of the tribal unit of the Twin Flame Collective. Our values are here to serve and to enrich the present and the future. And so we have to establish these new laws. We have to refine these true spiritual values. And we do have to understand why we've been allowing ourselves to stay stuck in cycles of dissatisfaction. What? For fear of embarrassment, of admitting that you made a mistake and that you made a poor decision. So I do feel this refinement of the obsession too. A lot of the masculines go through the obsession stage, and I think that's where a lot of them have been at recently, in dissatisfaction, in obsession, refining the obsession, finding their determination in this very uncomfortable, discomforting adversity of these challenges. And so they've lacked the strength, right? Because they were facing all of these values of their conditioned mind, facing all of this opposition, feeling threatened to release these distorted beliefs. And I do feel overcoming these challenges to find his strength to step into his purpose and achieve these goals, to face the opposition, right? And so I do feel a lot of the feminines have really been exalted from the energetic tugging. It does feel a little balanced and free. It feels like the feminine has naturally just aligned herself and is in this state of nurturing herself, surrounded by what I feel is all of these protective cosmic forces right now. And so what you're being asked to do right now, Divine Feminine, is keep maintaining your principles and your values, and keep being that support for others as necessary along your journey. And that is even highlighting more the resentment the masculine feels, because the feminine's got these natural mental gifts. He's been ignoring the feminine, and now he's kind of forced to look at this, where he, he's played into these survival patterns. The masculine, I feel, can't even stand to really be alone because of all of these distorted principles. And so he's kind of got to face his own inner corruption. He kind of had like this one-track mind. And so we're at the juxtaposition, crossroads of values. Do your values enrich your life, or do they perpetuate cycles of lack? And so Jupiter brings a gift. And so we can turn these inferior values into a lot of successes, but we have to go through this difficult transformation, and we have to learn the Saturn lesson. We have to exalt the Saturn lesson. Saturn is in Pisces right now, and so I do feel there is a majority of Pisces South Node Collective, Virgo North Node Collective, that are coming out of the South Node comfort zone of self-sacrificing, playing the martyr, playing the victim, oh poor pitiful me type energy too. We're never a victim of our circumstances. We only allow ourselves to be a victim if we let ourselves. And so coming out of that Saturn lesson, and so Saturn is going to be in Pisces for, the next couple of years. And so what actions do you need to take that are no longer limited and selfish? We're here to be our own savior. We're not here to play into criminal activity or, unlawful, unjust activity, because that will always lead to corruption and a breakdown of that false sense of security. So I do feel discipline is coming up in the energies, maintaining one's ideals and integrity. That is all coming up in the energies, questioning. And so the severity of the tower is going to be dependent on the karmic debt that is to be repaid, and how far off track you've gone from maintaining true cosmic values and principles. And so I do feel a possibility for new foundations that will create harmonic relationships with others, not just with the counterpart, but with others within the twin flame community. But I do feel the masculine is in a state of moodiness, feeling offended, as the feminine kind of steps into this very harmonic energy. And so I do feel the energy is demanding the birth of this union, to be nurtured. The masculine is here to be the guardian of the mystic healer of the feminine. He's here to be like a tribal lawmaker collectively and to establish what is right and wrong. And so he has to abide by these cosmic rules, is what I'm also feeling. So I do feel the twins are here to guard the values and the integrity of the collective, to build these new structures that will uphold the well-being of humanity and the spiritual community. So I just feel any unjust actions, any self-serving actions, they're all being challenged and changed at the moment. So let's pull in with a couple of cards and see what other messages need to come through for this energy update. I'm going to use the Pure Magic Oracle deck. I've really been drawn back to the Crow energy. So the bottom of the deck, Banyan Blessings. So this is about security of the soul, financial security, the Hermit. So Virgo energy, like I said, I'm really feeling like I'm channeling into a lot of Virgo North Node collective. We're going through an expansion of what security and stability means. And then below that, we do have Hecate's Path, speaking of cycles of life, night magic, crossroads, and letting go. And so 3 is the energy of manifestation. It is the energy of the Empress, creation, developing fierce self-love, self-trust. And 6 is the energy of balance and the Lovers. And so a lot happens in nighttime. I do feel a lot has been happening in dream space when it comes to the crossroads and letting the old go. And then below that, we have the Songbirds. And so that's the 11. That's the twin flame union. And so we've broken the hex of the false contracts, and we've been going through a final goodbye, final release, and healing of these unions. So let's dig in here and see. Yeah, so I do feel the feminine has commanded her highest soul song frequency, and this has been released out of the containment, and it is calling the masculine, I feel, out of Hermit energy, out of that spiritual seeking energy. So we'll see what else needs to come through with the Pure Magic Oracle deck. Nothing. Well, we'll take that one peeking out. So regeneration and the Burning Man. So this is, you know, we are here to be these caretakers for the collective. I just feel the energy of planting seeds. It is time for this regeneration process. And then we get the Burning Man. And so this is about our collective mission, stepping into our collective power, our collective gifts. 26/8. The twin flame bond is unbreakable. And so I do feel it is time to celebrate. The feminine sends out that supreme prayer. And we go through that psychic realm of union, the 333. And we are here to enhance our Druid magic and return the magic to the earth. 25/7, mystic healing energy. And so the masculine is spiraling, I feel. The feminine's reached the balance of her yin and yang. And now the masculine, I feel, is spiraling. And he's in a state of debating, calling in a lot of negative attention, and clearing the sacred rage as part of this revolution. And then below pyrokinesis, we do get ancient amulets. So it makes me think of like Sophia the First on Disney Junior. She had that purple amulet. But it does speak of fortune, and I did channel in the forecast. This is a week of possibly manifesting windfalls when it comes to the next level of enhancing our skills and our spiritual mission. So let's jump in with some, I believe this is the Star Seed Oracle deck. Well, there's the 7 Star Sisters and the Earthed energy. And so the masculine is like coming to this realization, I feel, of his cosmic origins, that he's not from Earth, but he's in the world to master his human existence. And so the 7 Star Sisters is linked to Palladian starseed origin, and it is the birth of this creation. So You might be working with a lot of Pleiadian light forces at this time as well, or feel the energy of those guides in and around you. The Venus energy. And so we did just have Venus going to Cancer, the great mother, the great nurturer. So there's a lot alchemizing in the energies. So we'll see what else needs to come through with the Starseed deck. Oh. We'll do another round here and see what we got. Okay, the blue flame and surrender. And so it was actually in reverse. So I do feel a heart activation. The masculine is tuned into his feminine healing energies. And the blue flame, that is the spontaneous Kundalini activation, integration time, spontaneous awakening. And he does remember the soul plan. So a lot of remembrance. And I do feel this all came in at that eclipse energy, the scorpionic energy. And so he's coming into this awareness of what is fated, what is destined, and remembering the divine feminine, and all paths do lead to home. And so he is harnessing his inner authority, his intuition, and he's turned his gaze inward to clearly see the divine feminine. And so he's no longer going to be able to micromanage the universe. The universe is kind of taken over and bring this unconscious awareness into the light. And so there is a huge mass wave of unions coming, is what it feels like. So let's jump in with some tarot. I haven't used the Wildwood Tarot in a while, so let's do that. Oh, I love it. Oh my God, we get the Fool. That is crazy with the Lovers. So there's that new beginning, ready to take a leap. And it looks like diving headfirst into the depths of these emotions to release the past baggage. And look at that. It does look like a union energy, a higher alchemical process has been going on. And so Gemini energy, Aries energy. And so this is it. This is decision time when it comes to the twins coming into union is what I'm feeling. So that's beautiful, beautiful energies. We'll give it a few more shuffles and then we'll see what needs to come through for the twins. Oh, look at that. We still got the Wanderer on the bottom of the deck. And so there's been blockages, there's been delays to this transition process with the Six of Swords in reversed. And this withholding and wait has been in due to protection during this rebirth process. So I think we're going to do 9 cards today and we're going to see what needs to come through for the twins. In these energies, well, bottom of the deck now, we get the King of Arrows, the Kingfisher. So I do feel communication is coming. He's flying in with communication. A whole whack load of truth. We get the Lovers in reverse now, with the 10 of Cups in reversed, and the Ace of Cups. And so that is the waterfall of emotion, the recognition of the lost opportunity with the feminine. There's a huge release of emotions because happiness was rejected, right? For a karmic contract. We get the Two of Stones. There's the sparring it out. A challenge ahead. The Ace of Arrows in reversed, which is the Ace of Swords in reversed. The King of Cups in reversed. We get the Great Bear in reversed. I believe that's Judgment in reversed. The Three of Bows in reversed. So there's that Kundalini activation. If you look on that card, you see the Kundalini snakes rising up to the heart. So from like the base to the heart. And then 5 of Bows is the overall outcome, which is empowerment through these challenges, right? So this is feeling like where the masculine is at. We get the Woodward in reverse. So that's coming out of hermit mode. That's the Hermit. And we get the Death in reversed, which is coming back to life. Breathe me back to life. The breath of life is what I heard. And so the Crow energy again. So the recognition of the poor judgment call and the loss of emotional contentment. And so I do feel the masculine is all up in his feels, definitely all up in his feels. The floodgates have been opened is what it feels like. And I also feel like there's that stag energy rising into what a true leader is. And so there's still some challenges. I feel he's like sparring it out with the karmic. There's still a challenge, right? Because there's still been a lack of truth in that situation when it comes to the lack of emotional contentment. So I do feel an emotional breakdown. I do feel sparring it out with the bad judgment call, with judgment in reversed. And so the masculine is lacking fulfillment in his life. I do feel the pathway has been cleared. And this is where the masculine, I do feel like, it looks like the chalk mark of somebody, at a murder scene. So the masculine's kind of been in this death energy, needing to find his empowerment. And I do feel he is preparing to come out of hermit to journey towards this renewal with the feminine. So I would like to look at the Ace of Arrows in reversed as a timing card. I feel within the next week, there's likely going to be a break in communication, or communication blockages removed. I also feel like there's been delays, right? This conversation should have come about a year ago. So let's clarify the Ace of Arrows in reversed. Ooh, we get the Ancestor. We get the Hierophant with the Page of Stones and the Nine of Bows. Yeah, this cycle should have closed out about a year ago. Yeah, there's the Divine Feminine, the Green Woman. And so it was the feminine that broke the masculine free, the Queen of Arrows. So the Queen of Swords in reversed. And there's the Archer. You are the Archer, right? Divine Feminine. And so is that like the Chariot? Things are moving forward. You definitely did not back down from your truth. He's definitely afraid to face you because he rejected you, is what I'm feeling. And this can relate to past life as well. But if you kind of look now, he's got an arrow, right? He's trying to come in from the woods. He's been in there for a while, fending for himself. And how to be the archer in return. It's also the energy of the wounded healer. And so I do feel the masculine's lost a lot of respect. I do feel the divine has been reaching out to the masculine as part of this process. Maybe about a year ago, there was acknowledgement of this, and he's really bottled this in and kept this internalized for about the last year. And so the Lynx kind of moves in stealth and very quickly. So the Page of Pentacles with the Ancestor. Yes, this new beginning should have happened about a year ago. And I do feel coming in with an offer. I do feel a hidden offer, not really communicating about it. And so there's definitely been some period of illumination through the heart space with the Sun, the Leo energy, to move things forward. Yes, I do feel he's preparing to journey towards you, Divine Feminine, but he's not sure how he's going to be perceived. So let's take a look at the Five of Bows, because I do feel there's going to be a situation that will empower the masculine with the Queen of Bows reverse. So there's the Queen of Wands reverse. She's sparring it out with him. We get the Seer, the High Priestess, and the Two of Arrows. And so she's tried to block this rebalancing. She's tried to block the masculine from seeing this truth. I also feel she's used her psychic abilities to manipulate the masculine, to keep him blinded from the truth. And I do feel this is definitely being illuminated of this injustice. And so the masculine is going to have to choose to empower himself. Look at that, the King of Bows in reversed. And so they're definitely going head to head. The masculine is dealing with a lot of snakes right now for his foxy behavior. And so I do feel he's in deep need of healing. And there's the Strength card, the Stag, and the Seven of Stones in reversed. And so he's got to find and muster up his strength to take the lead of this situation, because the feminine has attracted this union energy. So there's going to be a lot closing out this week, is kind of what it feels like for the Divine Masculine. Let's get just a couple last closing messages with the Twin Flame Oracle deck, my handmade deck. Trust. Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, if you're watching, listen to yourself and your soul's guidance. Big message, bottom of the deck, nighttime journeys. So there is a lot of nighttime astral travel journeys and meetings in the 5th dimension. So pay attention to your dreams. I've been sleeping like a rock lately, and I've not remembered any dreams. So I'm not complaining, because I've been getting a lot of sleep. So you might be extra tired as your masculine goes through this transformative, mutative process, Divine Feminine. So take a rest, take a break if you need a rest. This is about a higher level of learning and study, and so miracles. Nothing is impossible. I do feel a week of acknowledgement of this love, and there's definitely a lot of telepathy going on between the twins, and so forgiveness. Can you get to a place of innocence for everybody? Can you forgive your counterpart in order to shift out of difficulties? Because that's kind of what's going on right now, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading, check out the description box below. My sale prices will be in effect until May 31st, so book in before then to get in on the sale price. Keep an eye out. I did post on the community tab. Go check out the community tab. I have posted a link for a 6-week online tarot class that is going to begin on May 30th on Tuesday from 12 to 1. The course is going to run for 6 weeks. If you'd like to get in on that, send me an email, shoot me a message on Facebook if you've got me on Facebook. Because there will be limited spaces for that, and I've already had a couple people reach out to sign up. So if you'd like to get in on that, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I hope you all have an excellent day, and I do hope to see you all again next time. Thank you.